What is going on, everyone? We finally made it to the NFL season. And without further ado, we're going to kick things off. This is going to be week one of my NFL predictions. I'm going to do this week by week. And obviously, our record right now is 0-0 since there haven't been any games played. But we'll kick this off with the Ravens and the Chiefs. First game of the NFL season. You got the rematch of the AFC Championship where the Chiefs won that game 17-10. And I also think they're going to win this game. And I think because it's week one, usually the Chiefs win in week one. And they didn't last year, but they also didn't have Travis Kelce. And Kadarius Toney played really bad in that game. So I have the Chiefs winning this one 27-20. All right, our next matchup is actually a Friday night game, which is weird because the NFL usually doesn't do that. Packers versus Eagles, and this game's going to take place in Brazil. This will be the first game ever played in Brazil, and this should be a good game. Packers and Eagles are both really good teams. Packers almost made the NFC Championship last season. And the Eagles, barring, that one collapse they had, they probably would have made it to the NFC Championship, but they just had a slow start to the slow end of the season. But I do have the Eagles winning this one with a score of 24-21. All right, our next matchup is going to be an NFC South clash between the Panthers and the Saints. Panthers had about one of the worst seasons you could have had last season. They were the worst team, and they didn't even get the first overall pick because they traded it. And the Saints, they narrowly missed the playoffs. And the Panthers definitely got better on the offseason. Saints, they kind of didn't do much. But I still do think the Saints are going to win this game just because they are a way more talented team at this point in time. And I think the Saints are going to win this game 17-10. All right, our next matchup is going to be between the Vikings and Giants. Vikings unfortunately lost their quarterback, their rookie quarterback, to a season-ending injury in the preseason. And the Giants unfortunately have a really shitty quarterback in Daniel Jones. So this game should be fun. I think that the Vikings are going to win this game, and the reason I think they'll win is because I think their offense is better, and if I'm being honest, Sam Darnold might be better than Daniel Jones, too. So I got the Vikings winning this one 16-13. All right, our next matchup is going to be between the Patriots and Bengals. Patriots got Drake May in the draft, but he will not be starting in this game, which is probably for the best because they need to develop him. And the Bengals, they finally have a healthy Joe Burrow, and he finally had a full training camp. This is the first season he's had that. And the Bengals, for some reason, always seem to struggle at the start of the season. I don't know why. And I do think they might struggle a little bit, but I still think they'll beat the Patriots. There's no reason they should not win this game. The Patriots suck, and the Bengals are a Super Bowl contender. So I have the Bengals winning this one with a score of 20-10. Our next game is the Steelers taking on the Falcons. Steelers able to get Russell Wilson and Justin Fields in the offseason. And the Falcons are able to get Kirk Cousins in the offseason. And for some reason, they drafted a quarterback in the first round. But that quarterback won't start. It'll be Russell Wilson versus Kirk. And, I could honestly see this game going either way. But I think because they're at home and because I think their offense is a lot better than the Steelers, I have to go with the Falcons in this game. And I think they're going to win this one 20-17. After that, we got a matchup between two AFC South opponents, between the Texans and the Colts. And this should also be a really good game. It's two divisional opponents. They basically played each other last year in Week 18 for a play-in game. Texans won that game, so Colts are definitely going to be really wanting to win this game. And I do think the Texans are also going to win this game because, I mean, they're a better established team. Even though they're on the road, I still think that CJ Stroud is better than Anthony Richardson enough for them to win this game, and I think they'll win 30-23. Our next matchup is going to be between the Cardinals and the Bills. Cardinals got Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft, and the Bills, oh man, they lost a lot of pieces. They lost Stephon Diggs, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White, and Matt Milano has a near season-ending injury. And not a good offseason for the Bills. Definitely not the worst offseason for the Cardinals. They got a potential franchise-altering wide receiver in the draft. And, you know, as much as the Cardinals are on the rise, I cannot pick them against the Bills. The Bills are still a very good team. They honestly could still make the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So I have the Bills winning this one, 27-13. This is also going to be my lock of the week. All right, our next matchup's going to be between the Titans and the Bears. Will Levis versus Caleb Williams, which the Bears, as everybody knows, the Bears took Caleb Williams with the first overall pick that they got gifted from the Panthers. And they also brought in Keenan Allen to help with the receiving game. Titans definitely did a lot in the offseason, too. They brought in L'Jarius Sneed. They brought in Calvin Ridley. They brought in... Who else did they bring in? I guess they brought in Mason Rudolph, too, as the backup quarterback. And they also brought in Tony Pollard on a cheapish deal. And, this should be a closer game than what people think. I still think that the Bears are going to win, but I definitely could see the Titans winning this game. I just think the Bears will because they got more talent. And I have the Bears winning this one 24-20. All right, our final 1 o'clock game is going to be between two Florida teams, the Jags and the Dolphins. I do believe that Dolphins are going to win this game. I guess I should talk about each team's offseason a little bit. The Dolphins lost a couple of pieces on defense, but they also got a couple of pieces on defense too. And the Jags, they didn't really do a whole lot besides extend Trevor Lawrence. That's a big thing to do. They did lose Calvin Ridley to the Titans, though. That's gotta hurt. But, I mean, regardless of what these teams did, I honestly still would pick the Dolphins just because it's September, they're at home, and this is like prime Dolphins right here. I have them winning this one 37-21. Oh boy, you know I have kind of things to say about this game. Broncos taking on the Seahawks, and they did this 2 years ago in week 1 again. And only this time, we're not going to have Russell Wilson. We're going to have Bo Nix starting. And I think regardless of who's starting on either team, Seahawks win 17-16 because last year the Broncos lost in week 1 17-16, and the year before that they lost 17-16. So why should this year be any different? Broncos don't win this one. Seahawks win this one 17-16. Yippee. Alright, our next matchup's between two AFC West teams and the Raiders and the Chargers. The Raiders able to bring in Christian Wilkins, and they have a talented team aside from quarterback, which could hurt them in the long run. And the Chargers, they've got a quarterback, but they don't have anyone for him to throw the ball to because they got rid of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler, but I mean, he kind of sucked. And this is kind of an interesting game because these teams always play each other close, so it could go either way. And as bad as the home field advantage is for the Chargers, I still have to pick them to win this game. And I think they'll win this one with a score of 23-16. Alright, next matchup's between the Cowboys and the Browns. The Cowboys lost Tony Pollard in the offseason, and they finally extended CeeDee Lamb. I don't know why it took them so long to figure out that he is the best player on their offense, arguably best player on their team. And then you've got the Browns, who don't have Nick Chubb starting for the first 4 weeks of the season, so that's definitely not ideal for them. And they still have Deshaun Watson at quarterback, and all the off-field shit aside, I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. And, I usually would pick the Cowboys in this situation, but because the Browns are at home and their defense is better than the Cowboys, I actually think the Browns are going to win this one. I guess you could call this my upset, but I actually think the Browns are randomly favored. I have the Browns winning this one 21-20, and I guess we can call this my upset pick. All right, our final 4 o'clock game is going to be between the Commanders and the Buccaneers. The Commanders, they signed a shit ton of people in the offseason. They signed Austin Eckler. They got Bobby Wagner. They got a new center, Tyler Biadasz. No, not center. I think he's a right guard. And they also got Jaden Daniels in the draft. So they had one hectic offseason. And the Bucs, they extended Baker Mayfield, but that's about all they did, I believe. They got rid of Shaq Barrett, and he was going to play for the Dolphins, but then he retired or whatever. So they definitely had an average-ish offseason. And I do have the Bucs still winning this game. It's at home, and I still think the Bucs are a better team than the Commanders. And it's a rookie quarterback going up against Todd Bowles, so I definitely don't like his odds. I have the Bucs winning 24-16. All right, our Sunday night game should be a fun one. It's a rematch of an NFC wildcard game last year. It's between the Rams and the Lions. Rams unfortunately lost Aaron Donald to retirement, but I still think they'll be a good team. They got Jared Verse in the draft and some other guys in free agency like Tre'Davious White and Kendall Fuller to try and make up for that. And the Lions, oh man, this has got to be the best chance they've ever had to win a Super Bowl. They only got better, and they made the NFC Championship last year. So they have the brightest future, one of the brightest futures in the NFC. And I definitely think this is going to be a really tough game for them. But I still think they're going to win just because it's at home, like the wild card game, and their team is more talented as well. So I have the Lions winning this one with a score of 27-23. All right, our final matchup of week 1 is between the Jets and the 49ers. Jets last season, unfortunately, didn't even have Aaron Rodgers for any of weeks 2 through 18. They only had him in week 1 through the first 4 snaps. Then he got injured. And the 49ers, they made the Super Bowl, but they lost to the Chiefs. So this should definitely be an interesting game. Aaron Rodgers' first true game as a Jet. And I have no idea why the NFL's doing this, because the last time he played, he got injured in week 1 on Monday night, and the guy who tackled him was Leonard Floyd, who is now a 49er. NFL is so fun, don't you think? And this game, I think it's going to be really defensive because both these teams have really good defenses, and Brock Purdy seems to struggle against good defenses, and Aaron Rodgers seems to struggle against the 49ers. So I have the 49ers winning this one in a slugfest with a score of 17-14. So here's all my predictions lined up, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.